Hey everybody, what's going on? UltimatDjz here from the Talking Trek podcast, here with a special video for you here today. So we've had a crazy day. Yesterday was absolutely nuts. It was bonkers. It was an emotional roller coaster. Cats and dogs living together, fighting together, then laying together. It was a crazy day, wasn't it, Arian? Absolutely nutso bonkers yesterday on ARC launch day. We were so mad in the beginning, and then people were like, oh, well, this ARC is trash. And then, of course, typical shield DJ comes out and says, well, wait a second, guys. Wait a second, Bubba Joe. This is a great thing. Didn't we? we did a little bit of that. Here's what we're going to do tonight, all right? I've actually got a couple of guests with me here. We are live as we are taping, so whatever you get is whatever you get. I hope it's actually worth publishing. We'll see. But what we wanted to talk to you about tonight is a little bit about these traits, how they work, and as I indicated yesterday, there is a very clear warning that has been issued by the content creators, which is to plan carefully. Bubba, we've already discussed that there's not going to be a tremendous amount of this trait XP floating around, at least not initially. It reminds me a lot of away team speed-ups in ARC 1 and refresh tokens in ARC 1. Whenever a new currency comes out, it's held a little bit tighter. I don't see that being any different today with the thingies, the trait XP, the little blue boxes. The trait XP is probably going to be a little bit controlled. So what's the best way to use it, Bubba? There's the Bubba Joe way, which is what you did, right? What did you do, Bubba Joe?
I found an assignment that I really wanted to do, found the keywords for it, and then the officers that had those keywords.
Crazy. That sounds just like what we talked about on the podcast. Gee golly willikers, Bubba Joe, you're a genius. All right. Sounds just like we talked about. Guys, there's not going to be enough trait XP for you to do all these officers. Here, let me show you something. Let's take a look here at all of these officers, okay? And as we discussed, every single uncommon or higher has the ability to pick up traits. Every single... Oh, because I picked the common, right? That's where I go to. That's the first one I pick is the common officer. Let's look at this rare, okay? Every single one. Uncommons are going to have 1. Rare's going to have 2. Epic's going to have 3. So, Bubba Joe, let's pretend that you were going to spend $100. You were going to spend $100. You were going to pick up some trait XP. Even for a spender, and we're going to get to the free-to-play here in just a second, but even for a spender, what is the first officer you should look into? Should you dump directly into an epic?
You should dump into an officer that you routinely put into away teams assignments.
Because you do want the stats, right? So it could be an epic. It could be an epic, but we got to be real careful about this trait 1 versus trait 2 versus trait 3 stuff. So I was able to put together this little doodad. It's in our Discord, so if you are missing it, you are welcome to come into our Discord. It's in the graphics channel, where the Excel file is actually downloadable because we have some of these great abilities right here. Sorting capabilities. We can actually sort by the traits, okay? And that way you can even see how many officers, for example, share that trait. You know, in trait number 1, this is interesting. Look here. One officer, Bubba Joe, has the trait called Escape Artist as trait 1. And by the way, all of trait 1 is unique. All right? All of trait 2 is unique. Nothing in trait 1 for any officer is going to show up in trait 2. All right? Let's take Physicist, for example. It's not here. Let's take Tactical, for example. It's not here. They're unique, Bubba Joe. So all of the trait 1, all right, is one group. And by the way, there are 20 of them. 20 different traits in trait 1. In trait 2, there are 19. In trait 3, there are 18. 20, 19, 18 equals 57. All right, so you got to be real careful. Obviously, in trait 1, there are a number of these traits that do share with other officers, but there's a couple. Fat Mud, only 1. Escape Artist. Kumak. How about this one, Bubba Joe? Kumak, an officer that may not typically go on an away team's assignment, but if you find an assignment that calls for marksman, Kumak is the only officer that can do it. Folks, here's what's interesting. Has anybody found, Bubba Joe, Arium, have any of you found marksman yet? Because I have to wonder if this is not potentially a special assignment, for there to only be one officer, just like escape artist. Has anybody found the assignment that belongs that calls for escape artist or marksman?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Because I would have to imagine that it must be somewhat, at least kind of special, for there to only be one officer. I'd be really, really curious if we can end up finding that one. All right. Same thing when we look at trait 2. We can sort these right here. And you can too if you download the file from our Discord. Most of these look like they're in groups. Perceptive, only 2 officers, Deanna Troy and TOS Sulu. All right. Now, which one would you invest in, Bubba Joe? If you found an assignment that called for Perceptive, and you've got Deanna Troy, who's probably only a tier 1, and you've got a TOS Sulu, who's a rare card, who may potentially be tier 2 or tier 3, maybe tier 4, is your stats potentially better on the rare card? Maybe. I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on what your tiers are. But your officer sourcing, your availability is certainly going to matter. All right, you come down, again, 1, Mud 1.0. Can you guys see that? Mud 1.0 is the only thief in the game. So to find the assignment that is going to call for thief would be really, really interesting. Same thing, folks, going into trait 3. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Going into trait 3 here, Fluffy, 10 of 10. Ooh, Bubba Joe, would you want to put your Borg Tribble on an away team assignment that required an epic officer? Ugh.
Well, I'm going to guess, because I haven't seen it yet, that the Fluffy trait is required to get the assignment that gives you 10 of 10.
Crazy enough, Bubba Joe. I have just that assignment right here. Let's take a look. All right. Investigate Borg signal. All right. If I wanted to pop into this assignment, I can see that health is my key stat. It's giving away 792 away teams credits. And also I can get 12 shards of 10 of 10 if I can get a critical chance. And guess what, Bubba Joe? Look here. No Fluffy. No Fluffy. As a matter of fact, it takes Specialist, Minor, Analytical, and Assimilated, but no Fluffy. So, interesting question. Where is Fluffy going to show up if it's not on the 10 of 10 assignment? We need to try to find Fluffy. This is an interesting... See, this is why I was saying earlier that I like the puzzle, Bubba Joe. I like trying to figure out what assignments are going to go with what. Look down here. Mud 1.0. He's the only thief. He's also the only rogue. Same thing, guys. You got Mud 1.0 with the rogue. You got Crass with Specialist, and even Eurydice as the only traitor for trait number 3. Now, just a moment ago, we were actually looking for... let's find it. We were looking for Marksman. Is that what we were looking for? That's right. Kumak is the only one. We were looking for Marksman. And actually, as a matter of fact, Kumak has Tactical as his second trait, and there are a handful of officers that do that, but Marksman is going to be the one that's really, really rare. Now, who found it? Somebody just sent me a PM. Who was it?
I did.
Arian found Marksman. Let's take a look and see what Marksman is going to do. Here is the away team assignment that is going to give you Marksman. Now, is this is a new assignment, right? Boarding Party, this is one of the new ones because there's our crit chance of 0, right? Is this one of the new slots, Arian, or is this an older slot? Because I see that we just have the epic star charts, just have the service awards.
That is an older one, I think.
It is an older one. So I'd be willing to bet if you stack a couple of officers up here, you're going to get your base crit chance, but now it can be improved by adding these critical traits. That's key to note, guys, is that in the new assignments, it is a true 0% crit chance. Very much 0%. Unless you have a trait unlocked, okay? But if you go do an older assignment, all right, and we can show you this. Let's hop into the game. Where's my game? Here it is. All right. This is a new assignment. Let's look at an older assignment. This one right here. Here's one with an auger. It's showing 0%. It's got stats right here, but if I load up and put some officers in here, I'm going to see that my crit chance actually does end up populating. Now, as of this moment, I have no traits unlocked for anybody. I've got no blue. And by the way, just because people have been asking, just because you've got a white dot here doesn't mean it's unlocked. It actually just means that this officer does contain one of the traits that you're looking for. So they've made it somewhat easy, Bubba Joe, to kind of scroll through and find officers that have a matching trait. But if it's white, it just means you have not done it yet. All right? When it turns blue is actually when you have met the trait requirement. When this circle turns blue, that means that it is actually a trait that's been unlocked, and now it's going to show up over here with a number 1 or a number 2. It's going to show up with the level of the trait. So, for example, if we take a look at this officer, we see Spy is locked. I haven't unlocked it, but it is a 4 or a 3. Here are your trait XP. So the first level only requiring 3 levels. So, for example, if we come back in and we had one of these traits and it happened to be trait number 1, then we would see either a number 1, 2, or 3 next to this critical trait down here. Now, the advice that we gave during the podcast was to choose your assignments carefully. Bubba Joe, you're a level 50 bro. What assignments do you find that give you the greatest value? Is it the one that's giving a Zetbor shards?
No, it is not the one with the Zetbor shards.
Why not? What a great value this one would be.
Well, I hope the one thing that will happen is that we will look at these assignments that are offering multiple epic shards versus a singular rare shard. But no, the one that is the most interest to me is the one that's offering the new loot. The new loot looks to be very interesting in terms of acquiring ships, and that's something that is very important to me.
Okay, so that's important to you. Arian, let me come and ask you the same question. Are you after this away team's store loot right here, away team's credits, or are you after something different?
Those are the ones that I'm focusing on right now because I know I need to build it up.
The away team's credits or the trait XP?
Well, the trait XP is what I'm going to need, but I don't have those ones yet. I'm getting the ones you just had up there.
Disappointing to me. I actually don't have one with trait XP either. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at something that I may find value in, and then I'm going to show you how you need to do a little bit of research here. You need to do a little bit of prep before you start going into this. Housekeeping, you're in the chat as well. What particular assignment do you find the most valuable to you as a player right now? Is it one of the older assignments, or are you potentially focused on growing your XP stash as quickly as possible?
It's more or less the new loot and Latinum, actually.
Latinum.
To help speed ups.
Okay. And Latinum, if I'm not mistaken, is being sourced in these new multicolored assignments, right? Isn't there? I haven't seen one yet. You know what? Let's do a little exploration. I'm going to bring you back over here to my spreadsheet, okay? And what I started doing up here was actually starting to list out a couple of assignments, the ones that I am going to find to be the most valuable to me. For example, you know what? Look, there's Latinum right there, housekeeping. I found one that at base had a critical chance of 8,900 Latinum, and that's just the critical chance. If I can get the stats right, it's going to be even more. That's a great payout. I also found one called Lead Expedition. It was a one-day uncommon, and it had its grand prize of 5,100 away team's assignments credits, right? Bubba Joe, that you said that would be important to you. I also would very much like to continue working on my board. So you can see this one up is up in the game right now. A 3-day epic assignment focused on health, so I can kind of see where my stats need to lie, right? And what it's giving, 792 credits and 12 Borg Tribble shards. I'm coming over here a little bit further and writing down the 4 traits that belong to each of these assignments. Every assignment has 4 possible traits that are going to improve and get you better. So what I have done here is started to identify a couple of assignments. Now, this may not be all of them. I actually would really like to find some assignments that are paying out good in XP, trait XP. So let's burn a refresh here, shall we? Let's burn a refresh and see if we can draw some luckier loot. Oh, is this? Oh, that's the old one though, Bubba. There's a data shard, right? We've been excited about data, but alas, this, I believe, is one of the older ones. Let's throw in some officers and see if that's going to actually change. Let me find some officers here. Yeah, see, this is one of the older ones. Oh, and of course, yeah, we should see the critical chance is only 2 shards. All right. So, and actually, I believe at base it was only 1 because I just added a bunch of mega stats. Right. It was only 1 at base. So this is one of the older assignments. One that's not going to necessarily, oh gosh, do you want to? This is the thing. This particular assignment is a 5-day assignment with a 25% chance at 1. but we still could work at some of these traits. Although I think that I would prefer to look at possibly one of the newer assignments that could give me up to 12. Now, my other new slot, and by the way, I've only done 2 of the researches. Crazy enough, Bubba, I don't have enough service awards to unlock the 3rd slot. So I'm going to have to blitz some research here a little bit later to try to get enough service awards to open the 3rd slot and improve my odds. Here's the 2nd one, though. Housekeeping, you mentioned. Hey, you know what? This might even be the same daggone assignment. 144 and 8904. Is it? 144 and 8904. I've already run across this one. Let's see if it's the same. Charming, Traitor, Empathic, and Charismatic. Charming, Traitor, Empathic, and Charismatic. Guys, these assignments will cycle. There's not a real randomness to the traits. They are assigned. So find the assignments that are important to you. I'm going to burn another refresh because I don't like any of these. I want to find a good new research that has a lot of trait XP. Let's see if we can find one. Daggone, it's the same daggone one, housekeeping. Okay, my refreshes do not like Baba Joe. Merits of Honor. I'm going to do it because I need these so badly. I'm going to do one right now just to see if we can make it work. All right, so I had to recall a ship and fix some stuff there. But anyway, I got the officers I want. My key stat is attack. All right, now we can see also Crass has 2 of the traits that this assignment could be calling for. Now, interesting to note, Bubba Joe, this assignment's only calling for 3 traits. All right, continuing to show how valuable these merits of honor actually are in the eyes of Scopely. Meanwhile, keeping me away from nearly 50% of my research tree. But I want to add this one to the list. This is absolutely one that I think is important. This is one that I'm going to be chasing because I've been telling you guys I have not gotten the first Merit of Honor, and we are going to do this one live on screen. Now, there's only 3 here, but I'm going to come back over to my list, and let's see if we can find. We already know that Crass offers 2 of these because he's lit up. So let's find, you know what, let's just, let's take a look at Crass real quick. Maybe we'll get lucky and one of these is his trait number 1. Nope, couldn't get so lucky, Bubba Joe. Trait number 1 for Crass is Advisor. So I'm going to come back. This, by the way, Bubba, this is what I don't mind about this. I like this puzzle. There is a solution, right? I need to find Specialist, Analytical, or Perceptive. Do any of those exist as a trait 1 to anybody? Let's check. Perceptive? No. What was the other one? Analytical and Specialist, Analytical, Perceptive. Specialist, no. Analytical, no. That's right here in trait 2. And Perceptive. Do we see Perceptive anywhere? Nowhere does it show in trait number 1. And that's not wildly surprising, Bubba Joe. This is a valuable assignment. So it contains all trait 2 and trait 3 levels. You can't boost your crit chance with just a trait number 1. But nonetheless, we're going to go for it. We're going for the gold, baby. All right, because I want some merits of honor. Who are we going to load? Crass or Kang? I think Kang's a little bit better, isn't he? Let's check it out. 2.56. I'll sub Crass in there. Also 2.56, and we'll try Gorkon. 2.55. So let's throw Kang back in there. He's got our best odds at 2.56. I am going to try this one, Bubba Joe, and then we're going to speed it up because I would love to be able to celebrate getting my first merits of honor here on screen with you guys. So it's started, and I'm going to speed it up. Please, come on. Oh, now. Why? Why would I expect anything different? All right, so that didn't work out. Now, the good news is it's going to immediately refill with a new assignment, right? And as far as the new assignments go, I have 2 of the exact same daggone ones. Housekeeping, you're in luck because it appears that the Latinum one is going to show up a heck of a lot. So kudos to you. I'm glad that that's going to work out for you. Are you excited about that, to see that it's procced 5 times out of the last 6?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're just going to keep getting Latinum. And it's only a 1-day assignment, so that's great. And listen, let's take a look at these active probes. Bubba, you've talked about this one in the past. This is one you like, right? Hey, look, there's Fluffy. There it is, the active nanoprobes. So not for the Borg Tribble Officer, but for the active nanoprobes, Bubba Joe. There you go. There's Fluffy. Minor and assimilated. All right, so assimilated, not in our trait number 2. But look, it's in trait number 1, Bubba Joe. So you could actually, and look, what a healthy list. Pretty much every Borg. 1, 2, 3. Where's 4? Just kidding. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Every Borg officer you have, I guess with the exception of DuPont. No, DuPont wasn't a Borg. It was 2 of 10, I was thinking.
Look at 10 of 10, DJ.
10 of 10. Assimilated, minor, and fluffy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just found the perfect officer if you want to focus on active nanoprobe. Go back here. Minor, fluffy, and assimilated. Here is puzzle piece number 1. 10 of 10. Assimilated, minor, and fluffy. Folks, 10 of 10 was built for this assignment, or rather, let me rephrase. This assignment was built around 10 of 10. All the traits match perfectly. This right here, if you spend 323,500 XP, Bubba Joe, then this assignment right here becomes 100% crit chance. 100% crit chance just with one Borg officer in one of these 3 slots. Then the other 2 slots you could stack with health, Bubba Joe, to improve your payout. So what I'm here to tell you is every single one of these assignments is built just like this. There's going to be a key officer or 2, then you fill in around it, and these assignments are custom built for a couple of these. All right, let's see if we could find the officer for one of these others real quick. You know what? We were talking about the Latinum one, housekeeping. Let's see if we can find your perfect officer. So if you want 100% chance, this one's even worse, really, when you think about it. You have to take 3 epics all the way to max your trait number 3, your tier 3 trait. 3 epics. Housekeeping, in order for you to guarantee 100% crit chance, you have to spend 1 million trait XP if you want to run that assignment with a 100% crit chance, because you need that assignment, that trait, that trait, that trait, and that trait, and 3 of these traits are tier 3 traits. Isn't that crazy? But that's the assignment you want, right? Well, now we know why. Now we know why it's giving so daggone much Latinum. It's going to be really expensive to guarantee this Latinum for you every single time. All right, but hey, 9,000 Latinum. That's awesome. And you could probably get it up with the statistic bonus if you can work on tiering some of these officers. Eurydice would probably be great for that. Troy and Riker are going to be a little bit tougher, but Eurydice was going to help a lot. This is what I'm talking about. You have to find the assignments. Now, obviously, clearly, we're finding the hidden Scopely math, right, Bubba? The high-value assignments, the ones we really want. Well, clearly, they're locked behind a pretty steep acquisition of trait XP. So, is that where you start? Should you just go buy a bunch of packs, Bubba Joe? Let's look. So how am I going to get the rest of my trait XP? Well, is it in the store? Is it in, like, the away team's store? Away team store. We got some reputation, got some ships, more ships. Oh, that's it. No trait XP there. Okay. Where else could we find it? Well, we were trying to find it in an assignment. We didn't actually end up finding it in an assignment, but rumor has it one exists, right, Bubba? Didn't you say you actually have seen one?
I've seen screenshots of it. I didn't get one myself.
I haven't gotten one myself. Has anybody gotten one in the room right now? Has anybody seen one? You have? Dark Lord has. Well, good. I'm glad somebody. Clearly, it may be a little bit more rare. So trait XP is definitely going to be the bottleneck, folks. But here's what I was driving at. Well, one other place that we could find it would perhaps be in our daily. Looky here. Now the new daily that we got, I guess, Bubba, maybe a month or 2 ago for away team's assignment, completing 1 assignment. Guess what? You've actually got trait XP here. 1,150, in fact. That's not terrible, actually. All right, considering, coming back over here to our handy-dandy chart, it's only 8,000 to unlock the first trait, okay? And by the way, this price is fixed. I know that I labeled it. This is slightly unfair. It's not 8,000 for the uncommon, but it is, I guess it's not unfair. Total XP required for it, but this is trait 1, right? This is total XP to max both traits. Here, if you add them all up, this is what it is. So 37,500 would max a rare officer, but it's actually getting you 2 traits. All right. The big cost is maxing the epic officer, which is actually maxing 3 different traits, trait 1, 2, and 3. So if we can find a couple of daily assignments, all right, it's going to take 8 days for you to be able to do your first uncommon. Now, Bubba Joe, are you going to bother doing uncommons? It may depend. It depends on what Dark Lord could share with us, or any member of the community could tell us about the assignment that is actually giving trait XP. Bubba, it could be that these 4 traits might be more in line with what an uncommon officer would offer, right? It's an uncommon assignment, and it's not even, the traits aren't even, gosh, they don't even matter at this point. It would matter to get the extra loot, right? But you can get the guarantee on the trait XP without even unlocking any traits. All right. But while we're doing the assignment, we might as well see if we could get a little extra bonus out of here. You know, get a little extra something out of the store. But folks, if you were lucky enough to get this uncommon assignment, then it's a guarantee prize if you just max your stats to get the XP. And I would certainly recommend, Bubba, if this assignment popped for you and it's an uncommon, let me just ask a crazy question. Would you not stack your best officers on there and maybe use a day worth of speed ups to get a huge chunk of trait XP to start out with?
Absolutely. I mean, the trait XP is going to limit everything.
This is the gateway. Folks, I'm here to tell you right now, traits don't even matter for this assignment. Obviously, they would get you some loot, which is a bonus. But if you get this assignment, this is valuable right now. A guaranteed payout if you succeed, and an uncommon, so easy to get your bonus up here. Super easy. This needs to be the one you're looking out for. You run this one, get yourself a little stash of XP, and start working on the officers that are going to eventually lead you to your ultimate goal. For housekeeping, it's 1,000,000 XP. You got a little ways to go. But for me, it's about 680,000. Bubba Joe, did we figure yours out?
We didn't go over mine. But here's the important thing, DJ, is, and you remind me this more often than anything, you don't have to get to 100%. If you could get your critical chance to 60% or even 50%,
absolutely,
you're going to trigger those.
Absolutely. Run the assignments. I wouldn't wait. If I got the assignment, okay, if I get the assignment and I'm even started working on these traits, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to run it. I'm absolutely going to run it, especially if it's with an officer like that I'm not using a great deal. I don't even remember what my crew was. See, what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to map these out, and I'm going to identify over here in these 3 slots. I'm going to write down the crew that I know I need to focus on for the assignments that I want to work on, and then I'm going to just pick what is my priority. Look here, I've got 2 assignments that use minor. I got 2 assignments that use analytical. So these are traits that I'm probably going to focus on to begin with, and this is the puzzle that is Away Teams 2.0. Folks, I know that a lot of people have not explored this yet. Bubba Joe, your original gut reaction to me is, meh. Gregor, I think, is on the call with us. G, are you with us still?
Yeah, Bubba.
Hey, Bubba. What do you think? Now that you've seen this, because even your comment to me at first was actually something that a lot of people are saying. I'm getting a ton of messages. Well, Scopely said we wouldn't have to use our best officers. But people still do, right? People still using their best officers because they want the best chance. But now we just looked at one of these assignments and we're seeing, yeah, sure, maybe 10 of 10 for that one assignment, right, is the perfect officer. I don't know that I want to be without 10 of 10 for a couple of days. I could be, but I may not. I may rush that assignment. But what about the one that needs, right here, Eurydice? Who uses Eurydice on a daily basis? What was it? Eurydice and Jordy and Troy? That's what it was. Jordy, Troy, and Eurydice. Are those officers you're going to use on a daily basis? Gregor, do you still feel that once you sit down and solve your own puzzle, and by the way, the puzzle is unique for everybody. Why? Because of the desired assignments. Whatever assignment you want is what you have to solve the puzzle for. So, Gregor, it may be that you still have to use your best officers, but does this now at least maybe prove to some people that you don't have to use your best officers? That there is an ideal solution, and as Bubba just pointed out, you don't have to get it to 100%. If you don't want to use Jordy, you could still use Troy and Eurydice, and then use another officer for stats or filler or whatever. Gregor, seeing this puzzle, how do you feel about ATA 2.0?
I'm still a bit on the fence, I won't lie. And I'm still a bit on the fence because they replaced crit percentages with crit abilities, which kind of resets your progression on the crit side. So I'm a little bit on the fence, but funny enough, the one you laughed at earlier about Klingon faction credits is the one I actually spent some traits on because I'm going after the Hegda. So yeah, it's very
You know what? And that perfectly proves the point that everybody has totally different goals. Bubba Joe, you said, what was the one you were chasing?
The new away team's assignment loot, because I think I can get more BPs that way than the faction credits.
Okay, so loot, and then housekeeping saying he's just going after Latinum. All right, obviously, Scopely may have pointed out that one might be one of the more expensive ones, housekeeping. But you know what? You don't need 1,000,000 XP to run that one. You know, it'll cost you 1,000,000 XP to get to 100%. But again, you don't have to do that. You don't have to. And folks, this is the puzzle. This is the beautiful mechanic behind it. Is it perfect for everybody? As Gregor said, he's still kind of on the fence. This is changing his perception and his gameplay around ATAs. Is it the officers that he wants to put on? Does he still need to take maybe one of the crit chance officers off so that he can put strong statistic officer on to guarantee the assignment in the first place? Or, Gregor, maybe even work on the percentage bonus, right? We still have this number up here we can play with. And obviously, let's face it, you're not going to get to 1,000,000 XP quickly. So you work on one or two officers with traits, still continue to fill up the stats, and see if maybe you can get that 2.5% bonus with maybe a 40 or 50 or 60% critical chance. One other thing to point out here very quickly, just with the pattern of these dots. Here's a screenshot with a perfect example of the white dot, all right, and the blue dot, meaning that the white dot has not actually been unlocked. This officer does contain the trait, okay? But the blue dot is the one that's actually unlocked, and you can see that it is at level 1. That's what this number means. Now, one other screenshot that I want to show you here very quickly is this next screenshot that has multiple traits unlocked, all right? No white, but we have multiple traits. And actually, Monkey was the one that actually found this little piece of subtle beauty, all right? Monkey, why don't you explain it? Do you want to?
Yeah, so the grid actually corresponds with, or the grid on the officer icon actually corresponds with the grid that's over there under critical traits for your description there. So I can see just from this first look that, Epic Kirk there has impulsive, and I can see that Nero has intimidating and minor because it's at the corners, and it corresponds with those critical traits. And then Pan has survivor.
All right. And further, we can also, of course, see that these are the levels of these. So, for example, Nero, if he has minor at level 4, then we must know that intimidating must be the tier 3 trait, right? Because the tier 2 trait caps out at 4. Again, taking you back over here to our little special cheat sheet, only 3 levels of trait for trait 1, 4 levels on tier 2, and 9 levels on tier 3. So going back to this little thing right here, we know if this trait is level 4, it can't be a tier 1, but if he's got a second trait that's only level 1, then it has to be the tier 3 trait. All right, which may be too much information and doesn't matter, but at the same time, it is kind of nice that you can at least see what trait at least corresponds with this grid right here. Okay, it's not necessary for you to memorize the traits or know what comes after this or that, but you simply know, look, there's upper left, upper right, bottom left, bottom right, and he's got traits in all 4 of these boxes.
Yeah, it makes it really easy when you're like choosing the officer. So like, you pull up the away mission that you're about to start, and you got your whole list of officers. You can just quickly look and see, okay, this is in the corner that I need. This is in the corner that I need.
Yeah, for example, let's take a look at one. We'll do one live real quick. All right, here are the 4 traits that I need. I can see Gorkon would be daggone near perfect. He's got 3 of them. Looky there. And this one might even help you in choosing. Look here. I could say real quick, Gorkon and Tyler. That gets me all 4 traits that I need. All right, so it could be, oh, you can't see because of the cat. Hold on, let me move the cat. Now you can see Gorkon and Ash Tyler. They've got all 4 of the dots. Top left, bottom right, and top right. There's all 4 of them. So I know that those would be, just at a glance, maybe you don't need the big nerdy spreadsheet, all right? But you can do it right here at a glance. You can at least find out, hey, 6 of 10 has 2 of those, but notice all of mine are white, so they're not unlocked, which means they're not going to get me any points down here. It's all about high risk, high reward, or low risk, low reward. Your choice, and your choice of rewards in, basically your choice of assignments. Bubba Joe, give you 30 seconds on your wrap up. How are you feeling about ATA 2.0?
It feels like an improvement, but I think the success or failure of ATA 2.0 is going to be the accessibility of the XP. So if we are able to get a little bit more XP, and again, I'm not looking for 1 million or anything crazy like that, maybe not even 300,000, but enough that we can unlock enough keywords that we can start getting small percentage chance of criticals. I think that's going to be the success or failure of this in this arc.
Arian, you get the final word as a relative free-to-play player. What do you feel, and how do you feel about the ability for you to obtain rewards with a better crit chance?
There's two main parts about this. I've been hearing an echoed sentiment today of some feeling of disappointment that, well, there's 0% crit now, but after walking through this, I can see the progression piece in 90 days from now, and being able to choose which crits you want to have at 50 to 100% and maximizing those rewards that you really want is going to be awesome. And also, after going through and trying to help people, asking which one should I spend on, et cetera, walking through how you're doing it and recording them as you go to be able to match up which officers are going to be best. I think that's exactly how I want to do it as well. Because that's really the best way to take a limited quantity at the beginning and determine where to spend it. It's great.
Absolutely. It's all about optimizing. And to Bubba's point as well, I don't expect there to be a great deal of this loot, Bubba. Sadly, I'd love for there to be 500,000 thrown out there this arc, but I don't see that happening. So it's going to be super important to put it where it's going to be the most efficient for you. And by the way, it may not be for everybody starting out on the rare and epic assignments. As we just pointed out, there's an uncommon assignment right here. There's an uncommon assignment that is giving. I would almost argue, Bubba Joe, Gregor, sound off real quick. I would almost argue that this assignment right here probably needs to be everybody's #1 priority for at least the first couple of weeks.
I wish I got it.
Me too.
Agreed.
Me too. This uncommon assignment is what everybody now wants. We're going to have to dial up that RNG, Scopely. What do you think, community? Please leave your comments underneath this video in the comment section. Is it a complicated mechanic? Absolutely it is. Is it one that has some long-term positive payout? It can, if you strategize correctly. Gregor, this is probably one of the more cerebral mechanics that have probably ever been introduced into the game. Do you think that Scopely overdid it?
No, I think this is really interesting, pick your path. I mean, this is really tying you to your choices on how you spend that currency. So that's interesting from a strategy perspective. But I hope they don't switch up the rewards on us in some weird way.
Yeah. Hey, guys, a month from now, all your crit chances are going to turn to common G2 material. You heard it here first. Leave your comments down below, as I've already asked. Please hit that subscribe button. If you're watching here for the very first time, welcome to our channel. This is the kind of weird, deep nerd math that we do all the time. Hit that thumbs up so you can help us with our algorithm. Click on the bell so you're always notified of brand new content, and be sure to visit us on our website. Come join us on our Discord. Our website is TalkingTrek, STFC.com. My name is UltimatDjz, your friendly neighborhood cat person, saying meow for now. We'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget, another video coming very, very soon, or it might already be out, on the event guide for TNG Arc 5, the grand finale, or is it so grand? TNG Arc 5 event guide. Go check out that video, too. In the meantime, thank you so much. UltimatDjz saying meow for now. See ya. Love you. Bye. Meow. Purr.